Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Old Ones. This is the third episode of Old Ones, and I am your host, Andrew Tursky. This is my podcast where I talk about retro gaming, hence the name Old Ones. I thought for the third episode, it might make sense to pick a game that is the third installment of a series. It might be kind of odd to go from not just from the first game to the last game, but you know what? I'm not trying to tell the whole story of the series or anything. I'm just trying to go from game to game and pick games that I want to talk about. And this one I recently have played, and so it's nice and fresh in my mind. And I also really love this game. I had it as a kid, played it a number of times, was one of my favorite. Jak and Daxter, the series, is one of my favorite series of all time. But we are talking about the third one and the last of the main trilogy, and that is Jak 3. I actually have my copy right here beside me. Actually, I have two copies, because why not? I'm holding them up. If you're just listening to audio, I'm holding them in my hands. This one's the one from when I was a kid, and then I bought a second one recently, and then I also have the book out, which I was just reading through to kind of freshen up a little bit on some of the terms and stuff they use. I'm not going to get too crazy in depth with it all, because it's not if you really want to dive deep, it's not like you're going to get anything crazy out of the book. The book just tells you what the guns are called and what other stuff is called. But I am going to talk first probably of the plot, and then I'm going to summarize up at the end of like the gameplay and everything, and you'll get my thoughts. Like I have a lot of memories of this game, and I thinking back to it before I've now replayed. I've replayed it a couple times, obviously since I was a kid. I kind of get a feeling of, I want to go play a Jak game, and I'll play through one of the three Jak games that are at least good, and this one I just recently played, so I'm ready to talk about it and have my thoughts heard. So some of it's nostalgia, because I do really love this game, and I still really like this game, even if that might seem not so much as you get through this podcast. But let's talk about the beginning of the game. Also, if you're looking to play this game and you've never played it for some reason, I will be spoiling the whole thing, so just a heads up if you want to play it and you don't want to hear everything about it, because this is a very story-driven game compared to the last two. The first one, the second one, they have stories, but it's more just like bad guy, go beat bad guy, and beat the game sort of thing. This one's definitely more story driven. There's a little bit more of a story, and I think the gameplay is good. It's just less of the normal. If you've ever played the first Jak, it's very platformy, and this one is less platformy than the other two. But basically, you start off the game. You are on a little ship of sorts. I don't even know what they would call it. I'd call it a ship. And you get dumped in the wasteland, as they call it, because there is a war going on in Haven City, which is where Jak 2 is based. And they're basically blaming you for the metalheads and everything taking over So they dump you in the wasteland for you to die. You and Daxter and Pecker, which is a little toucan or something from the first one, who is a loudmouth just like Daxter is. And if you don't know who Daxter is also another little loudmouth, almost like ferret, maybe. They don't really explain what type of animal he is supposed to be. He's just like a little furry ferret looking thing. And yeah, you basically Daxter walks through the desert. This is all cutscenes, by the way, because there are a lot of cutscenes in this game. And you're walking through the desert and you pass out and you are found with this little beacon thing or something that you're given by Ashlyn, who is also from the second game. And you are found by a man who you don't know who it is at the moment, but you're taken back to his palace. Turns out his name is Damus. I have it in my notes here. His name is Damus, and he is the king of Spargus City, which is in the wasteland, and it is full of people who have been exiled from Haven City, which basically they're all just refugees, and it's a very dirty, rundown kind of city in the middle of the wasteland. And the wasteland is like pretty much uninhabitable. It's just a desert with like storms all the time, and you're picked up by Damus, and he believes that you could be useful to the city. Since he found you, you are basically the city of Spargus's property. So he puts you through trials to make sure that you are cut out to be a servant of the city. And so the first trial is basically a tutorial. It's basically a tutorial for just like movement and everything. And it teaches you good enough. If you're starting at Jak 3 and you didn't play Jak 2 or the original Jak and Daxter, I don't know why you would just start Jak 3. You would know what you're doing. You would run through the tutorial. You would have no problem getting through any of this, and you learn how to use your gun again. And once you finish that, he basically says, "All right, stick around, but you can go off and do your thing, and then you'll come back and whatever." And he'll have jobs for you and whatnot. So you leave and you meet Cleaver, who's this big dude, and he is, I would say he's like the mercenary he's like the leader of the I don't know. It doesn't explain exactly what he is, but he seems like a mercenary of the town, and he's got he wants to put you through tests to make sure that you are cut out to like run with the crew, basically. So this is the first time you get to use these leaping lizards. And if you ever played the second game, I'm gonna reference the second game a bit just to get a reference. But they have these little cars that you drive around, they're not cars, but they're like hovering crafts. I don't know. I don't remember what they are exactly called. I could look through my book here and find them. But they're little vehicles, zoomers. This game has, in Spargus, they don't have zoomers. They have little like leaping lizards that you can run around, and it just lets you get around the town quicker if you need to. I never found that I needed to. Spargus is pretty small, and unless you're like going around the whole town and like trying to do these like little side. There's these little like signs that you can get little missions off of. So yeah, if you're going around, they're useful. I just never really found them like I could just run somewhere and get to where I need to go. But they have these little lizards, so you have to do a mission for Cleaver of just like jumping through hoops, and they're teaching you how to use these little lizards. But basically you get through there and he says, okay, you're good. Then you meet these monks that are standing near this like purple alien spacecraft looking thing. And she's telling you about the story that there's this light in the sky, purple light in the sky that's coming towards Earth, and it's going to destroy Earth, basically. And so they're worried, and that kicks off the plot of the actual game. That's where you figure out the first little like part of the game that you're going to have to like worry about in all the whole plot. That's kind of where the first one, because the first couple, like you meeting Damus and stuff and him just putting you through trials that's not part of the actual story. This is part of the actual story where you basically have to well, we'll get it. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but you walk up to this alien spaceship looking thing, and it reacts to Jak, because Jak has dark eco powers, and he has dark eco in him. So when he walked up to it, it opened up, and you do a little like you grab like this dark eco crystal, and that kind of starts off like where the monks are telling you to be careful and whatever. Then you go off and do missions for Cleaver, and you do missions for Damus, and you get through it a little bit, and it just like pads out the game a little bit. I'm not going to get too much into the missions just now. I'm just going to talk about the story. But eventually you do a mission where you go out into the desert and you meet up with Ashlyn again. And she'll be in the desert, and you talk to her, and she's saying that this guy named, what's his name? Viger, who is the one that helped kick you out of the city, the Haven City, is like out of his mind. He's lost, like he's using his power for bad stuff, and you need to go back to the city and basically help. Jak is not interested, and he makes his feelings heard where he says, I'm now part of Spargus. I'm not, I don't want to save the world again. I just live here now. Like, this is where I live. And that's, after that, it seems like, okay, well, you're just going to stay in Spargus. But at one point, he changes his mind, and he's trying to find a way back to the city. You eventually go through a mission that allows you to drive this little like car thing through a tunnel, and you make it to the end where they say basically you are worthy of light eco. You get light eco powers, which plays into the story a bit, and also gives Jak 4 different powers compared to what he had in Jak 2, where he had dark eco powers. I think the first light eco power that you get is like a regeneration, so you can use it to heal yourself, which is nice to have. Especially this game, they give you enough health packs most of the time, so I didn't find myself using this ever. But if you're really struggling, it can be useful for sure. Especially through like a first playthrough or something where you might be struggling. There are times where it gets a little difficult and you can use it. And then there's other ones where you can fly, you can turn time slow motion, and then I think there's one where it's like a spirit bomb where you can like throw it and destroy things. But yeah, now that you're back in the city, you meet up with your old pal, Samos and Kira, two of them. And they basically tell you to find a way to get into the rest of the city because you're blocked off, where you came into the city. You end up getting into the city, obviously, and you meet up with your buddy Torn. Torn is also in the second game. There's most of the people in Haven City that you're gonna meet or see again are just people from the second game. The only people that are new are from Spargus that you have never met before. But basically, Torn just sends you around and makes you do more missions just to pad out the game, obviously. You can't just because the story's it's not the longest story ever. It's not like an insane story. But basically, you're told to do missions and stuff, and you meet this guy named Errol. It's spelled Errol, and he is the second bad guy of the game. there's two kind of main bad guys. That's kind of where this one is kind of different than the second one. Is like it has a lot more of a different story. Sorry, I think my cat's scratching at my door. I stopped for a second because I was like, what's that noise? But yeah, so you meet Errol, and he wants to use Dark Eco to destroy the Earth. So whatever's coming at Earth, he wants to use it to destroy the Earth, basically. That big purple light in the sky. And so now you are tasked with stopping him, and you also have to worry about what's his name? The other guy. What's his name? Viger. And Viger also unveils his plot, basically, he wants to use the light eco to destroy all Dark Eco. He wants all Dark Eco destroyed. Not just whatever's coming to Earth, but everything. And he wants to become a precursor and use the light eco and become powerful. And so he's like the Thanos. He's like the Thanos of the game. He's like the Thanos of this game. And so now you have two different main bad guys basically having complete opposite ideas of ways to, one wants to destroy Earth, and then one wants to become all powerful and become a precursor and destroy anything that has Dark Eco or anything involved with Dark Eco, which is also Jak. Jak has Dark Eco. But now, sorry. You go through missions where you're trying to defeat Errol for a bit, and eventually he gets away and goes through a portal. And you find a way to then, I guess, teleport your mind into that giant purple star in the sky. With I don't know, it's like a big tower, and there's a thing there. Jak touches it, and his mind goes up. It's not, yeah, it sounds wild. And you end up destroying whatever's up there. So you save that part, quote unquote. But then you still have to worry about Viger because he's still on a mission to destroy everything, basically. I don't know if I mentioned, but Viger also was the reason why all those metalheads and everything attacked Haven City originally, and then they all blamed you, so he kicked you out. That's kind of the plot point at the beginning. And then you go back to Damus, and he wants to help you destroy Viger. So you go and do a mission where you're going through with a vehicle and stuff, and you end up getting to Viger, and he kills Damus. And as Damus is dying, basically, he unveils that, like, one of the artifacts that Jak has and has had since he was a kid is like an artifact that's went through his family for a long time, the family of Mar, and that was Jak's original name, and he's saying that, like, it was his son's, and as he's dying, he basically never realizes that Jak is actually his son. So Damus is actually ends up being your dad, which is like probably the biggest, because Damus mentions multiple times throughout the game that he had a son, and he got lost, got taken away, whatever. But you can kind of, I guess, if you've never played the game, you may not know that that's gonna come up, but they kind of reference it lots of times, and then Jak's like, "Oh, you had a son," type of thing. So they try to do a bit of like a Star Wars, Luke Skywalker thing, where it's like, "Oh, I am your father," except not the same, because he never actually says he's his dad. Jak just pieces it together as Damus is dying. And Damus dies, never realizes that that's his son, and then, or maybe he did, but he just never said it. I don't know. And then Viger's standing there and basically unveils to Jak after Damus died that, like, I took you away from your father, because I thought I could, like, use you to, like, for my master plan, stuff like that, which is kind of weird to think about. Like, so did Jak just like escape at one point? I don't really know how that all worked. And then he gets away, Viger gets away, and takes control of this, like, giant mech thing that's supposed to destroy. Oh, I think it's Viger that controls it, or maybe it's Erol, whatever. There's a giant mech that you I'm scatterbrained here because I'm forgetting exactly in what order this goes. And I think at this point, I'm reading on my computer here. Damus dies before Jak can tell him. Yep. Viger arrives, tells Jak that it's true. Oh, wait. So Viger just shows up. You're not trying to defeat Viger. And then, yeah, he says he stole him from his dad when he was a small boy. Because he wanted Jak's eco powers. Here, Viger then rushes off. They seem to have beaten Viger. Oh, yeah. So they think they've beaten Viger. Jak goes and meets with the precursors, and it seems like they're like, okay, well, you've proven yourself worthy to become a precursor because you've saved it, you destroyed Viger, and you've proven yourself worthy. And at the time, it seemed like, Jack's gonna become a precursor, and that's like really cool to become a precursor, because it seems like, oh, they're so ancient and they're all powerful and whatever. And instead, Viger jumps in and says, I'm going to become the precursor. So he jumps into like the thing that a little beam of light that they said, okay, you can become a precursor. He jumps in. They're like, oh shit. Like he's going to be an all powerful precursor and stuff. Then it's unveiled that the precursors are just like Daxter. And I'm actually reading here that it's an animal called an otzel. So sorry at the beginning if you're yelling at me that they're otzels. Sorry, I didn't research that so much. But it's hilarious at the end here that Viger thinks he's going to be this all-powerful being. And then all of a sudden it's like he turns into this like fluffy, just like Daxter, where he's this little otzel. And Jack kind of dodges a bullet at the end there. But then Jack and Daxter to the Darkmaker ship to slow it down while the planetary defense system charges. Yeah, so then you're tasked to take down this giant spider-legged thing. It says Darkmaker Terraformer, and it is powered by or it's commanded by E-Roll, who is the bad guy, the other bad guy. You take that down, and that is the final boss of the game. And you're all it's all a celebration. Basically, you go back to Spargus, in Damas's like Colosseum, and it rolls the end cutscene where Jack is gonna go with the precursors, and they're gonna fly off into space, I guess, or whatever. And he seems like, okay, seems like Jack's gonna leave. He's gonna go. Daxter's gonna stay on Earth with his girlfriend, which they turn his girlfriend from a human to a otzel. So then now he has a otzel girlfriend, which is kind of, it's funny because like he had a human girlfriend for a long time, and then it was like, oh, now it makes more sense. They're the same species now, because before it was a little weird. And roll credits. Other than Jack doesn't actually end up leaving. He stays. He stays with Jack or with Daxter, and it kind of seems like, oh, Jack stays, so maybe they're gonna make another Jak and Daxter game. They didn't. Well, they did. They made a game called Jak X, which I also got as a kid, and was quite confused about it, because it's a racing game. It's a full-on racing game. But I mean, so this game was made by Naughty Dog, basically in their prime. Naughty Dog made the Crash Bandicoot games, and this was right after Crash Bandicoot. This was the Jak and Daxter series was the next. Was the next installment of their games. But yeah, the story by itself is good. It's better than the second one. It's definitely better than the first one. The first one was good, but it was kind of just like very basic. This one had a lot more story, and I think you can start to see their storytelling, Naughty Dog's storytelling, come into play in this, because they ended up making the Last of Us games, and those are story games, which now have movies or shows. Sorry, or they were shows. No, they were games first, then show. But yeah, like the story was good. I didn't it's a very story-driven game. It's a very story-centric game. Let's get into some of the gameplay that mixes into the story. It was, again, I've said it was very story-centric. The missions themselves are good. It's a very linear game. And it doesn't leave anything up to like chance or anything that like makes you think, so to speak. Like you don't need to really think for most of the game. You're not gonna get to points where you're like, oh, now what do I do? Oh, now what do I do? They give you a mini map and it shows you exactly where you need to go 90% of the time, if not 100% of the time. They tell you exactly where you need to go. When you get into a mission, it's not like, I need to figure out how to do this. It's kind of just like pretty cut and dry. There's like beams of light where you need to go, or there's green flashing things on the screen on your mini map where you need to go. And it's not going to blow your mind with all the stuff that you need to do. It's just, it's a solid, I do like the missions. Some of them can get repetitive and sometimes it seems like you're doing a lot of, the same kind of, missions. Like there's a lot of, car driving in this game, which would, I guess, blend itself into Jak X, the racing game after this. But there's no racing in any of the other two games. Like even in 2, the most you do is with those like zoomers or whatever. But they're not the same. They don't have wheels. These ones all have wheels. And it's kind of cool the way they do the cars. Because some of them are regular drive around shoot. One of them is like a big old like massive with like a turret on the back. One of them is, but you only use that one like once or twice. Or you have to use it once. You unlock it for the rest of the game, but I mean, I would use other vehicles most of the time. But then there's like one that jumps. You can like load up a jump and like launch yourself, which you have to use for a couple missions. And they design the missions specifically for those vehicles. So it makes it mixes it up and changes it up a little bit. So it makes it fresh. Most of them have like machine guns, and the one that jumps throws bombs or throws grenades. So that's a little different too. You also in this game, you control Daxter quite a bit. He does little like of his own, like not his own missions. He doesn't do his own missions. But when you get to points in missions where it's like, oh, Jack will jump off and you'll say, let me handle this. And you'll control Daxter instead of Jack, which is kind of cool because they ended up actually making a specific Daxter game for the PSP, which was actually, I can talk about that another day, but that's another actually decent game. But Daxter, you control Daxter quite a bit more, and sometimes he does like, I think in this game the one where you ride a missile. It's either this one or the second one. I can't really remember, but he usually just does stuff like that, or he'll like he needs to squeeze through spots, and then you'll use him as like a platformer type. Which in this game, platforming is kind of takes a back seat compared to like, obviously the first game was basically specifically for platforming. This one doesn't have nearly as much platforming. It's actually, the majority of the game is either driving or shooting. You do a lot of shooting. in this game, and like they equipped you with a lot of guns. So when you finish trials and stuff, he'll give you upgrades or gun pieces. And then as you go through different missions and whatnot, and they have like the gun range from the Jak 2, you'll upgrade your weapons and you'll get all the upgrades for your weapons. And there are some that are very, I don't want to say overpowered, but they are like, they're a little overpowered. And you get some of them like really early. Like there's one, so there's a red gun, a yellow gun, a blue gun, and a purple gun. The red gun is like a shotgun. The yellow gun is like a rifle. It doesn't, it's like a rifle. It only shoots like one at a time. The blue gun is like a assault rifle or like a machine gun, whatever you want to call it. And the purple gun is like a rocket launcher. And I think the purple gun's the only one that I think I know the name of, because I think it's called the Peacemaker, because they mention it in the second game. That's the one that Sig, who you also meet in this game, has. But like the guns that I found myself using the most were either the yellow attachment that bounces, you shoot, and it'll hit a wall and it can bounce around, and usually the bounce goes exactly at an enemy. So like you can shoot an enemy, it'll bounce off that enemy to the other enemy, and it'll like keep bouncing. I don't know how many times it bounces, but it bounces a lot. And so, you know, for an early game gun, that is incredibly overpowered. Like it is so overpowered. That's the only one I use for like most of the time. And then as you get further into the game, you start to lose your ammo quicker because you have to use it more. So then you switch to like the blue gun, which has another overpowered one, which I don't remember. I don't 100% remember exactly what it does, but it's also another kind of overpowered. I think it's, I can't remember the exact, like, I can't, I could look it up in my book, but I probably won't be able to find it quick enough for a, oh wait, blue is the Vulcan Fury, but it doesn't have, red's the scattergun, yellow's the blaster, blue's the Vulcan Fury, and yeah, the purple's the Peacemaker. So I got that right. But it doesn't say any of the attachments. Oh, here's the dark and light eco though. Dark eco, I believe, is a couple of them are the same as the second one, but I think you have, the same are the dark bomb and the dark blast, which one's like a jump and slam down, and it basically makes a big, circle around you and destroys people. The dark blast is like a, I don't even remember in this game, you don't really need to use the dark eco like at all. Like, sure, you might use it for like, I think the dark eco is the spirit bomb. I think that's the spirit bomb that you throw, because the light eco only has regeneration, the flash freeze, which slows down time, the shield, and the flight. So you have a little shield and you can also fly. Dark eco has dark bomb, dark blast, shadow invincibility, and dark strike. I believe the dark strike is the one that you throw the spirit bomb. But to be honest with you, I didn't use light eco or dark eco for most of the game unless you have to. There are a couple times where you have to use the spirit bomb, and there's a couple times where you have to use like the flight or the slow down. But other than that, I didn't really use it that much. It'll help the game maybe get a little easier, but I didn't find there were moments where I needed them. But they're useful, I guess. One thing that you do have also is a skateboard. You have a hoverboard, and it just helps you get around a little faster. And also there are moments where you do need it. Because because it can grind on rails, and there are moments where you can't get past a moment, or you're doing like a mission where you're gathering things and you need to use your skateboard to like be fast enough and grind on these like fallen down trees and stuff. I use the skateboard sometimes to get around a little faster. It's fun. It's a fun little thing. They have it in Jak 2 as well, but this one seemed to use it a little more than Jak 2. But other than that, yeah. I mean, they have a lot of attachments and gadgets and stuff that you can use, but you don't really have to. Oh, here's the beam reflector is the yellow gun thing that reflects off walls and stuff. That one's super overpowered. And then there's the arc welder, which is like a zap one from the blue gun. And there's the needle laser, which the needle laser mod gives you the morph gun, the ability to shoot a barrage of heat seeking. Yeah. So that's the one. The needle laser is the other one that I used a lot. And it's like you shoot some like 3 or so bullets, and they just basically heat seek to bad guys. So you have the yellow one where it'll also heat seek, but like it'll bounce off of things. I don't know if the yellow one's quite heat seeking, but most of the time it'll hit an enemy because it bounces so many times. And then you have the blue gun that also has heat seeking. So that was like those two were like, I think I only used those to beat the whole game. So they give you a lot to use, but you don't really need to use any of them. Like, it's not a need, thing. And the missions are good. They're repetitive. There's some that are like, just press this button when it gets into like a circle, and you just press the button and you press the button, and it's okay. It's very PlayStation 2-esque. They took a lot of inspiration from different games, I think, and just like mashed them into this game, and kind of took out some of the platforming and then just put in like a lot of shooting and car racing and using cars for like taking down massive enemies. And other than that, I mean, the game's good. I like this game. I do very much. I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. I think that to cap it off with this game is probably perfect. They didn't need another one. They didn't need a fourth Jak and Daxter. Sure, could they make a new one now? Kind of what they did with Crash Bandicoot, where they like, because they seem to only work in threes. Naughty Dog seems to work in threes. Like they made 3 Crash Bandicoot games. They made a racing game and they made a party game. They made 3 Jak games. They made a racing game. They did not make a party game. That would have been interesting. And now they've worked on 2 Last of Us games, and I wonder if there'll be a third. I mean, I've never played them, but knowing Naughty Dog, they might make a third one. Oh, and they made the Uncharted games. How many Uncharted games? There's more than 3. There's more than 3 Uncharted games. So maybe they don't just work in 3 games, but this one was in their prime. These Jak games were in their prime. I guess you could maybe say Crash Bandicoot was their prime, but I think these were like very, very, very good games. I don't know if Jak 3 was the only one that didn't get one of those red Player's Choice or whatever carts. I think it just has the black cart. But if you want to pick this game up, it's pretty cheap if you can find it. I know we have a like a retro gaming store, and there's a couple of them in my city. They never carried Jak 3 like ever. And then at one point I found it. They have a website, and that's when I ended up buying it. So now I have 2 boxes of Jak 3. And I have Jak and Daxter, I have Jak 2, Jak 3, and Jak X, and then I have Daxter for the PSP. The only one I don't have is like that other Jak and Daxter game that was made for, I think it was made for the PSP and maybe the PS3 or something. I don't really 100% know. I don't even know what it's called. I've never played it, and I don't plan on playing it. I might end up playing it one day somehow if I can get my hands on it or if I can find a way to play it. But this game was a good cap off to the series. I didn't think, as a kid, I thought Jak X was going to be, that's going to be like the fourth Jak and Daxter. It's going to be so cool. And then I started it up and it's like, this is just a racing game, which it's a good racing game. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to get too into that because I might make another episode I'm going to make an episode of all the Jak games. This one just is fresh in my mind. I recently just played it. So, that's why I wanted to get it out of the way so I can make another episode. And then, coming down, I'm going to get away from, the Jak games for a bit, and then I'll come back and make another one once I've played. Because I remember them. I just don't remember them like to a T to make like a podcast. This one is fresh in my mind. So I wanted to make this one first, even though I'm not going in order. And yeah, I mean, if you've ever played it and you have good fond memories of it, let me know. If you have never played it and want to play it, I would suggest play it. I think it's for sale for like the PlayStation 4 and it's backwards compatible for the PlayStation 5. So if you have a PlayStation 5, you can get, I think, all 3 games. And yeah, I think I got through most of what I wanted to talk about. I'm just looking at I'm looking at my notes here. I mean, one thing I wrote down is the one of the monks' names was Seam, and I think she got killed at one point or turned into stone. Oh, the armor. Yeah, so the armor was a little different in this game. Like in Jak 2, you didn't end up ever getting any armor. In this game, you find pieces of armor, and as you find pieces of armor, you get more health on your health bar, which is nice because it does. If you didn't have any of that armor, it would get quite a bit harder. It would be pretty hard by the end. Sorry, too much talking. My throat's getting dry. I don't have a drink here. It would be very difficult at the end if you only had your original health bar. So it's nice that they add, you get this armor that's like precursor armor that gives you extra health. And that's it. I think that's the last of my notes that I put in here. Some platforming, because it's really, that's what it is. There's not a lot of platforming in this game. It's very driving, shooting, and other weird missions that don't involve a lot of platforming. Okay, yeah, that's good, I think. I'm happy with that. I've got through most of that. I kind of zoomed through most of it. I kind of just went as fast as, well, not as fast as I could, but I tried to condense it into like, 49 minutes now? Because if you look up the actual, like, all the cutscenes, they have, like, videos on YouTube of all the cutscenes put together. It's almost like 2 hours of cutscenes, which is a lot. So... I kind of just cut through it and tried to piece it together. The most important stuff. Some of it's like small. The cutscenes are like, that doesn't have anything to do with the story. It's just they're telling you to do stuff. But yeah, that's it. That's going to be it for Jak 3 and the third episode of Old Ones. If you have made it this far, let me know in the comments. Throw a subscribe, throw a like if you want. I'm going to just keep trying to turn these out. I don't exactly quite have like a set time when I'm going to be making them, just because I'm, work's super crazy right now. I don't have exact schedule or anything. I just kind of have to work when I have to work, and when I can make a podcast, I have time to do this. I'll just make one, put it up, and hope you guys kind of enjoy and keep coming back whenever I upload. And then when I get a little more time, maybe I'll make a schedule and try to turn out episodes. But yeah, thank you for watching, listening, hanging out with me. I've already went through the subscribe and like and stuff, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode, which will be number 4. I have a couple games in mind. I think it's either gonna be Pokemon Emerald or Super Mario RPG, just because those are also fresh in my mind and they were easy to play on a handheld. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Peace.